It's like when I glitch mid thought. I'm like,
Yeah.
what word am I trying to think of?
I think I was mid-sentence, so I just went.
It happens to me sometimes. I seriously, like, I glitch out. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say, and then I freeze.
Ooh, it happens to us all.
It does.
Yeah. What up?
We back.
We're back. Bonus content for the members right now. And for you non-members, Tuesday-ish.
Whenever we feel like opening it up to you.
Yeah, maybe we won't.
You deserve it.
Maybe we'll make you wait. Damn, we're in witch mode right now. We're so that cackle, man. We're in witch mode. Practical magic. Where you at?
My laugh stays cackly. It really does.
Well, now I definitely want to hire you to sage my my haunted house.
Oh, I'm going to. I told you we're gonna sage. We're gonna steal some mirrors. We're gonna do all the things.
That makes me so scared to look in the mirror now when I go back up there.
It's covered, right? Let's keep that shit covered.
I mean,
oh, you removed it?
The bathroom. Well, no, there's a covered mirror in the basement that I have not touched.
Yeah.
But the bathrooms, you know, they all have mirrors. Those are fine, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Promise.
It's fine. We'll seal them right up. That's fine.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Masvidal versus Diaz. Who did you think won?
So this is the thing. All right. One, I'm not a boxing judge.
Okay.
I like to consider myself a UFC judge, like an MMA fighting
UFC judge.
an MMA judge. Like I have a pretty good understanding of what people are looking for, whether they agree with me or not.
Right.
So this one was challenging because they're two totally different styles. You have Diaz, who is volume, like nonstop volume. And it's not pretty, but he's constantly in your face with volume and pressure. And then you have Masvidal, who's a little bit more of a refined boxer and who's more of a power puncher. And so both, like, having them fight each other, it like you have to look at it from two different places. And I don't know which places those judges look. I thought it could have been a draw.
And it was on one judge.
It was on one. I thought that would have been fair. I think that if Masvidal would have won, I would have also been okay with it. I was okay that Diaz won as well. It was kind of a tough one to score.
Yeah.
I thought that Diaz had more volume, obviously. He landed more, but then Masvidal had more of the clear, precise shots, the power shots.
Okay.
So it was hard to know which one to score because I've watched boxing matches before and I'm like, oh, clearly that person won. They landed more volume. They did this. And then on the scorecard, it wasn't so.
Yeah, boxing can get really weird with that. It's almost like an art form that's been perfected where MMA judges are still figuring out how they want to screw a fighter.
For sure. And I don't doubt that it's that way as well in boxing.
Yeah.
They have vested interests in the boxers getting to a certain place just as MMA fighters, but I think it's just a different way they go about it in boxing.
Yeah. Well, so much of it can be arbitrary, right? Like whether you put volume higher or power higher, whether you see a strike as a significant strike or as a regular strike. One thing that stood out to me was they had the jab count as like 250 jabs were thrown and only 30 were landed on both sides.
Yeah.
And I'm like, weren't some of those feints? Like, how could they have missed all those jabs? But a lot of them were feints to set up. And then you think, okay, when does a feint count as a strike attempt?
I guess anything thrown.
Anything thrown.
Anything thrown.
But then what's the point of the stat?
Sure.
You know, so a lot of those things that add up to saying who won and who lost the fight, especially in boxing because it's been around for so long, can be confusing to someone like me who doesn't really pay attention to boxing because they have all their little avenues that they fall into and all the the company things that happen, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I was looking at those, and it was confusing because they had Masvidal up on punches thrown. I was like, no, like you can't out volume Diaz. You just can't.
Ooh, maybe Michelle Waterson should go to boxing.
Well, now they're having 2 MMA fighters headline boxing cards. So, I mean, why not? You know?
I think that'd be a great move for her, especially if they count the strikes not landed.
The shade.
Yeah, the shade. But shade aside, that was kind of, I don't know. That was kind of wild. The fact that Waterson retired on 303.
Why do you think that?
Not wild. I'm just saying it's a thing.
No, they gave her a very nice send off.
I was trying to think of the right word.
They gave her a very, very nice send off.
Wild is the only thing that came to mind. But
Okay.
just the fact that, you know, she was ranked. She fought a tough person. She's fought a lot of tough people. And then she retired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had an idea that she'd probably be retiring soon. But I wasn't sure if it was going to be this fight off of a loss. And the matchmaking seemed a little, I don't know, just a little insensitive if that in fact was stated before she showed up.
It definitely
for the
was.
fight.
They had a whole reel for her.
Well, yeah, okay. So I don't know when she told them that that's going to be her last fight, but if it was before the match was made, then that kind of sucks for her. Like, give her
A proper. You know what? They did.
give her Indian homegirl with the sidekicks. They can sidekick it out.
It'd be like Chun-Li fighting Chun-Li.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of other girls that she could have fought and had a much more competitive fight. I thought that she won the Pinheiro fight. You know, so there were definitely good fighters that she could have put on an impressive performance against, but I felt like this matchup particularly got under her skin because she couldn't really do much of her offense. Like, she's a kicker. She is known for keeping her distance with her kicks and her kind of karate stuff. And Robinson was just able to catch a kick, take her down, get in close, take her down, sit on her for all 3 rounds.
I mean, on paper, I can see why they made it up because Waterson does push the grappling a lot. And she historically has, you know, done well on the ground. So I wasn't surprised that they wanted to see that. I feel like it's a Mick Maynard like dream fight to make because he loves grapplers. You know, he's a black belt himself.
Okay.
So I think that was one of the matchups that he was excited about to see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes more sense. But it definitely looked like Waterson approached the fight in kind of a more timid than she usually does.
It's hard. I wonder where a fighter's motivation is announcing that they're going to be retiring. Because to me, it's clear that she was, you know, maybe on the last fight of her contract. Maybe she was looking to retire and they said like, hey, we want, you know, to let you know that we're going to retire.
Yeah.
So that's why they did the whole production and the send off for her, which was very nice. Like, not a lot of fighters get that. So I think that she did.
Arvloski.
I know, right? That one's a legend. That one's a legend. And there was nothing.
I think there's also the fact that Arvlovski has openly said that he still is a fighter and he's still going to fight. He said this book isn't done being written. And, you know,
still, that
sometimes
man,
it doesn't matter if no one wants to read it.
Fair. No, and she's very popular, you know, on social medias and in the UFC. Like, they're always pushing her. She's definitely a fan favorite. So I understand why they gave her that kind of send off. But not everybody gets that.
But to not give it to Arvlovski, I think the reasoning behind that was because he's still fighting.
Yeah,
you know, he's still planning on fighting even though they cut him. And I think with Waterson, she's not gonna get cut from the UFC and then go fight in LFA, you know, or go fight in PFL or wherever the fuck. Like, she's done.
Yeah.
She's in.
I do wonder where, what I was trying to get across was I wonder where a fighter's motivation is, knowing that they're like preparing for their last fight. Like it doesn't matter if they win or lose kind of thing, even though I know fighters want to win.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just a little bit easier to not find that fire and that motivation.
I think it can go either way, because sometimes you put on a fight like Robbie Lawler, fight like Korean Zombie, who still lost. It was a huge order to take on Max Holloway, but he still put on a hell of a performance. And I felt like that fire that those guys had, she wasn't able to get. I mean, sometimes it's just a skill issue too. You know, sometimes someone just has your number and they're able to impose their will and you have no answer for it. And it really seemed like she had no answer for Robinson on the ground. And everything she tried to do on the feet before it went to the ground ended up getting her taken down.
Yeah.
So, but it just felt like she wasn't committing to her strike. She wasn't committing to that whole dance before the inevitable happened, the takedown. And I think that's what kind of made me sad for her in this send-off fight. She didn't give it her all. Or at least that's what it seemed. It seemed like she wasn't confident in what she had to give Robinson, and it showed. And Robinson was just able to have her way with her.
And on the other side of that, Robinson has been looking really good.
Yeah.
And her striking's much better. Her takedowns are executed like very supremely. So I think that she is probably, you know, I mean, she's the best version of herself, and she's definitely big and strong for the division, coming down from 125. And I think, you know, it was her night.
Yeah.
And it was impressive.
Yeah, it was a super impressive win. Speaking of impressive strawweight fights, somebody has another one on the docket. But I can't say who. But if you remember, then I gave a little hint on the YouTube page. So members, you get the hint of who it could be, but I will never tell, not until the UFC says it's okay. And until I got a contract. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I still haven't gotten a contract yet. But hopefully soon. Yes. But I would be remiss to not mention that Waterson has bested both me and you in our careers. So kudos to you. We pour one out. Congrats on your career, and I hope for a happy second chapter.
Cheers.
Oh, I guess that would be I'm like, I don't want to mess up my floor.
No, you drink it for the homies.
There we go. Drink one out for the homies. For our fallen sister. Jillian Robinson did look really good, and there were a few other fights on 303's prelims that made me excited. I thought you would have been super into that second fight on the card, the Japanese kid versus, I think his name was Hernandez.
I missed that one.
You should watch it.
Should I? Okay.
It looked like you versus Yoder.
Oh, so fun. I love training with her.
Just a grapple fest.
I love me some grapple
like
fest.
A high-level 80cc match, you know?
Ooh, I'll have to go back and watch it. Yeah, the first, when I turned it on, it was Arvloski and Buddy.
Oh, how'd you think about Arvloski versus Butter? Hey, Butter.
Did I say it right?
Hey, Butter. No, it's just, it always makes me think of that stupid accent that South Park gave the Canadians.
Yeah.
Hey, Butter, I'm not your butter friend. Don't call me friend, Butter. You know, like that whole thing.
I mean, I think that what I like about Arvloski is that he's reinvented himself and he fights for where he's at in his career. And I know he didn't. I know he didn't win, but I'm still impressed with he still gets out there. He still has almost like how Overeem like reinvented himself later in his career. And he started fighting just like differently and safer and just, you know, to where he was at, keeping himself out of harm's way. I think I appreciate that.
It's kind of like what Ian Gary did, only in way more fights.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the time for that, Ian Gary. You still have all your wits about you.
You need to win the belt first and get old.
Plenty of brain cells to spare. Just get out there and do it.
Get out there and do what you used to do that we liked so much. Agreed. And it was a close fight. I'm kind of worried about Martin Buddy's future. When his fight looked like that, it never looked like he was ready to commit to a strike again, like in the Waterson one. And both of them were kind of doing that, but you understand why Arvloski is doing that, because his chin was already in question numerous times in his career. So he's figured out a way to just pitter patter and win the rounds. And what I was thinking when I was watching his fight is, man, Arvloski is going to make a great coach one day, because he's still going to be able to beat up the best guy in his gym. Like if he's coaching a heavyweight and they have to do rounds with him, he's still going to be able to beat him up.
Absolutely.
And teach him shit, and he's going to have to listen because he can't beat coach. And I think that's awesome. That's ultimate goals for me, you know. If I were to become a coach, I'd want to be able to take as little damage but still win the rounds, and he does a great job of that. So I was surprised that Buddy got the decision, simply because I feel like people are usually swayed by the story of the fight. And knowing that Arvloski has had so many fights, is you know, a full illustrious career, and it was the last fight on his contract, I was a little sad that Arvloski didn't get the nod. It was a split decision win for Buddy. And I'm like, where's Douglas Crosby when you need him? Where's that guy? What's he doing? Could have done a good deed.
He was having a night out on the town.
Oh, I'm sure. Hanging out with Connor. What do you think Connor was up to that? Oh, so that was another weird fan not weird, but interesting interaction that I was able to have with Michael Chandler.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was at the little VIP lounge. You know how they ship us all in there and make us talk to the VIP people. And we're like, hey, nice to meet you. Even though we're like, I'm getting paid to do this. But Michael Chandler was one of the many in there. And I saw him and I said, hey, man, how butthurt are you tonight?
How did he respond to that?
He said, you know, I'm not butthurt. More like, I forget what he said.
Was it witty? Was it clever?
I feel like he said something witty. Like, not butthurt, I'm butt healed or something.
That doesn't sound witty. I hope it wasn't that.
He said something about taking it to the top.
Yeah.
Or seeing something at the top. But he's good. Basically, he's good. He looked very positive about the whole situation. He was just chilling, enjoying the night, enjoying the vibes. And I don't think any love is lost for Michael Chandler with the UFC or his situation. I think he's fine.
I think he's fine. I think he'll be fine when they eventually fight and he makes all that money.
Or if they don't fight, he'll probably still be fine.
Sure.
Yeah. He seemed very much in the mindset of everything happens for a reason. I'm just on this journey, and when the time is right, blah, blah, blah. So he's chilling. He's probably on mushrooms too.
I know his one of his motivational like coaches. Is like mindset coach. I've worked with him before, so I'm
Who's
sure
that?
he's fine. Chris Patterson.
Oh,
Great
okay.
businessman, great friend.
Is he like part of like the whole PI crew of people or
No, no.
Oh, okay.
No, he's his own separate business entity. Yes.
Very nice.
And he's awesome. Very positive. Very focused on positive mindset. And yeah, he's good.
Nice. Did he invent the see you at the top saying that Chandler?
I don't know, but I feel like he had a hand in
coined.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, where do you want to be? The top. Can you see it? Yes. All right. There you go.
He's all about manifestations. He uses a lot from like Bob Proctor, and
Who's that?
He's another like mindset motivational businessman.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like they all just come from like a hypnotist, famous hypnotist.
Not hypnotist, but there are like Zig Ziglar. There's a lot of like really sound businessmen, motivational speakers, mindset coaches. They're all like in that little community.
So none of them came from hypnosis.
Not to my knowledge.
I feel like a hypnotist would be a really good mindset coach.
Well,
you
if you're
just tell 'em
susceptible
what to
to it,
think.
yeah, sure.
You just
Otherwise,
be
it
like,
won't work on you.
You will believe in yourself when I snap, you know? And then you're just like, yeah, take it to the top.
Well, what they do is they use like manifestations. So every single day, like when I wake up and before I go to bed, I say my manifestations, and it's like that. It's like I'm already successful. I'm already this. I'm already that. I'm already where I want to be, and I visualize myself there. And so they're really big on that, on manifesting.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that little girl in the mirror where she goes, I am beautiful. I am smart. I am creative. You know, the little girl in the mirror.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's all that.
Little girl's manifesting.
Yeah. She's hypnotizing herself.
Damn straight. Good girl. I wish I had been taught that when I was younger.
I know, right? Yeah, so that was I don't even know what we were talking about.
Michael Chandler.
Michael Chandler, he was chilling. He's straight up chilling. He is in very positive mindset. I feel like he's financially very, very set. And yeah, he was enjoying the night.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. But in the meantime, Conor McGregor was able to make $1.50
I heard.
on the Masvidal Diaz fight.
Yeah, he went for Diaz and came out $1.5 million richer.
You think he slid something to one of those judges?
Who knows? I mean, nothing would shock me at this point. Who
Sent
knows?
him a case of proper 12.
That was enough to risk their future.
They must not have tasted it yet. I don't know. Yeah.
That's another one.
I'm like,
So I broke my toe when I was camping.
Yes.
And then I tried to spar on,
oh yeah, you
on
did.
Friday when I came in.
I forgot about that.
So I wanted to
when
try.
you told me about your broken toe.
Yeah, I
Wait a
wanted
second,
to
these
like
things don't line up.
understand. I wanted to like really understand and get into the, you know, the headspace, the physical space that McGregor was in when he made his decision.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, when I think about it, like we can, you know, we make fun and, you know, talk about it like it's not a big deal. But where he is in his career and what he has on the line, I do empathize and understand absolutely why he pulled out. And people can make fun of it. People can say, oh, he shouldn't have pulled out, oh, this and that. But like, it's not your life. It's not your career. It's not your legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to say it hurt. It hurt. It made me hesitant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It affects it. And I understand where he's at in his career.
Was it the pinky toe?
No, it was the second.
Ah, that's more of a big deal. Come on, bro. The second toe is basically helping the big toe do all the stuff.
Yeah.
So you're going to fill the second toe with everything.
Yes.
If you're on the balls of your feet, a lot of times you don't feel the pinky toe. You buddy tape that thing, and it's not even touching the floor.
Yeah, I buddy taped it. It hurt.
Yeah, no, the second toe is a lot more of a bitch to deal with. But I do agree, and I like what Perea said about the situation, because people kept asking him, like, what do you think about Conor McGregor?
You wouldn't pull out for a little toe, would you?
Yeah, you got 2 broken toes. I bet you got a third one right there. I bet you got broken face. And he's just like, yeah, you know, I'm not there yet. I'm not to the point where I can pull out of an opportunity like this. And I'm almost there. And he made it seem like he would pull out if he was McGregor level. I don't know if he's just being humble and just, not talking shit about the people who came before him. I feel like he's not cut from that cloth where he'd pull out, but I do agree with what he's saying. He's saying that when you're at that status where you don't need the fight, you don't need money, you're really just doing it as a for fun thing, then there's no real pressure.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing this little jiu-jitsu thing, fight to win thing. And when I got news of the fight, I'm like, maybe I won't. And I'm like, maybe I should tell someone. But it's like, and 10 years ago, this would be a huge deal to me, this fight to win thing. But I'm doing it. But when I got the notice that, oh, hey, they found me a matchup, it's like, do I feel like doing that? Do I feel like putting my legacy on the line? Do I feel like grappling some person who I really don't need to grapple? And your brain goes through those just kind of gymnastics when you're weighing out the pros and the cons of a situation, especially if you're doing it kind of for fun.
Yeah.
You're doing it to elevate your level, but at the same time, you don't need to. If you didn't do anything else for the rest of your life, you're set. And that's where Connor is.
Yeah.
So who are we to judge? Us tiny people who need to work every day.
Yeah. Can't pull out when I'm injured.
Oh, nope. That's why you're here.
Yep.
Join our members thing.
Help us. Poor little fighters.
Help her fix her toe. It's so broken. Yeah, so I actually don't blame him. And maybe that's the influence of the little Perea quote that he gave out, but it's true. Why jump into a fight where you feel uncomfortable when you don't need to?
I get it.
Yeah. But as an effect of that, the entire card kind of dominoed into calamity. Bless you. And it's all because of Conor McGregor.
I know. It's a butterfly effect.
He caused a 10-car pileup on the main card of 303 because of his pinky toe.
When you put it like that, it sounds how it sounds.
I just feel like it makes the UFC not want to invest so much into him showing up on fight night again because it was such a small injury and they're used to their athletes pushing through for something that small.
Yeah, I hear that. I understand that. He also has like his own, conference room named after him. He has a wing named the Conor McGregor wing. So I feel like
they're gonna do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, they'll keep signing him up to fight as long as he wants to.
I mean,
because people always show up.
Yeah, it's the whole bait and switch, right? Yeah. They're not mad at Conor because everyone showed up to an Alex Pereira fight that they might not have bought a ticket for.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now we got a new superstar. Another person to push in front of people, make them buy tickets and dress up like
He's
him.
definitely going to end up with his own conference room.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
That the rise is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing it.
Yeah. What else happened? What were you telling me about?
Oh.
The Sarukian thing.
Yeah, Arman Sarukian has been suspended 9 months, retroactive, and fined $25,000.
He was armed and dangerous.
And the crazy thing, so again, I don't always go on the internet and look for things, but I had to look at the comments.
You were all up on the internet this week.
Well,
I
just was clinging to some connection to society.
Well, yeah, you didn't have Netflix.
I did not.
So you had to do something.
I had to.
With your phone.
As soon as I could, as soon as I got internet, when we would stop off at the store to get supplies, I'd be like, oh my God, please. I need something. Show me that the world still exists.
Yeah, you just need that fix.
I did. But it's crazy because fans and internet trolls were talking about how he should hold himself to a higher standard and he needs to control his emotions. And
When you're walking out for a fight, so backing up, Arman Sarukian, when he was walking out to his last fight, a fan jumped out and yelled at him. I forget what he said. Do you remember?
I don't remember what he said.
He said something like, fuck you, or something like that. But he like jumped out and yelled at him. And Sarukian turned around, punched him in the face. And like, you guys don't understand. We probably just had a really intense warm up. Our coach was probably smacking us in the head really hard with the pad. For me, before I walk out, I always get somebody to slap me in the face to get me into fight mode so my adrenaline is pumping before the bell rings. And all this shit has happened before you walk out. And then someone just jumps into his space. Like, your head is in their space. Of course you're going to get punched. That's what we're coded to do at that point. Anyone who jumps into your space who's not supposed to be there is going to get punched in the face.
Yes.
Like, you see how tentatively the refs are. They they have their hands behind their back. Bruce Buffer holds the microphone. Just in case one of the fighters feel like the ref is a threat, you know, like everyone is just trying to get the fighter in there before they freak out on someone. And that's just crazy that he got fined for someone kind of breaching that contract of being a fan and interrupting the mojo of the fight night.
In certain spheres, that could be considered assault.
It
and
can.
he was defending himself.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you poke the bear and you get mad when the bear tries to eat you.
Exactly.
Isn't that the old saying?
Yes. I think that's a saying.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I'm going to use it.
You should.
I will. Don't poke the bear because he might eat you.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
It's crazy that people are trying to say that fighters who fight human beings in a cage for fun and for sport
For
and
fun.
for money.
For money. A lot of
There
us come
is
from broken homes.
There is enjoyment in it.
There is. I love
There's
it.
fucking enjoyment in it.
I love punching people in the face.
It is quite nice. That's why I haven't retired yet. I'm not done punching people in the face.
Let's go. You can also kick them in the face, elbow them in the
It's
face.
pretty sweet.
You can knee them in the face.
So many things.
You could choke their face.
You could break their arm.
Ooh.
You'll literally snap their arm in half. It's like there's
that's
nothing
next
like
on
it.
the
It's
list.
thrilling.
Oh.
Absolutely thrilling.
Oh.
I daydream about it
I can't wait.
all the time.
I did some fun arm bar drills today, and I'm like, who knows what could happen?
The possibilities are endless.
But yeah, fighting is very fun. But I think fight night is the most unfun version of every day that we go through.
Seriously,
With the nerves.
every single time I'm backstage, I have this conversation with myself. Why are we here? We went to college. How do we ended up here? How do we repeatedly end up here in this situation? Do you actually like it that much? Did you forget? Did you forget? I think you forgot. You have a memory of a goldfish.
As soon as you get backstage, you're like, oh yeah, I hate this.
Fuck. What am I doing? Yeah. It's a roller coaster.
But then you get in the cage, and when you're fighting
You feel
and you're
alive.
connecting, it's a crazy experience. It is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
The whole build up to fighting is like the
Yeah. And you're like locked in and you can't get out. I'm like, shit, I signed a contract. I'm like,
can I break something real quick? Like,
I've had those thoughts too. I'm like, what if I was just like walking and like tripped and broke my ankle, which I have.
That's why you shouldn't think that shit, because it
Which I
might
have.
happen.
Which I have on fight day.
Oh,
Has happened.
God.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin.
Dick.
But yeah, that's it. It totally happens. I think that every time I fight.
Yeah.
Like every time there's a moment where I'm like, I just won't show up. I'm good.
Sleeping in.
That's fine. What is the check-in time? What, 30 minutes?
They'll never find me.
I drove here. Just gonna get in the car, go see my dog. But yeah, it's such a real feeling, and so there's a whole roller coaster of emotions, and then once you get to that walkout state, that's you going up the roller coaster like. And for me, like when I'm on a roller coaster, that's the scariest part, where you see how high you're going. And you hear the little, and there's no fun stuff to distract you from the scary height. And that's what walking into the cage feels like. And then once the fight starts going, it's the roller coaster with the swirls and all that shit, and you're having a great time. Yeah, you're throwing your hands up. But the walkout is when you're almost most vulnerable, and that's when that guy decided to scream in his face.
He should be fined.
Fuck you. No,
You
fuck
should be
you.
fined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You should be fined.
So
And
in his
banned.
yes, but in his defense, he apologized to Arman Sarukian.
As he should have.
He
Good for
said,
him.
"I was caught up in the moment, first time watching fights in the arena. I'm sorry," and blah, and just like
First time out in public in civilization.
people are crazy.
Yeah, they are.
People are crazy. Adam's flipped off a guy before. Luckily, I have good tunnel vision where
Yeah.
whatever people are yelling at me, I haven't been affected by it yet when I walk out. But but Adam heard something. My husband / coach. And it's funny because Adam Hunter was sitting next to the guy who screamed something. And he has this really funny version of what happened.
Of course.
He said, Adam, my husband, turned to face the guy and he just gave him the meanest, like, middle finger and kept walking only because he had to corner me.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have leaped
Focus.
over and
Probably.
settled things if that weren't the case. But yeah, the guy apologized, and the commission is the one that is making Arman Sarukian pay a fine. The guy will get none of that money, which I think is lame.
Where's the money gonna go? Huh? Vacation?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
They got to pad their pockets where they can.
For sure.
Now that they crack down on Doug. Cracking down the whip. They're going to, all right, we'll fine you for chewing gum. How about that? Fine you for getting on top of the cage. Remember
When that was the thing.
Diego Lopez also got fined that night
Mhm.
for leaping over the cage. This wasn't 303, but when Sarukian fought.
Yep.
Rude. So rude.
I mean, to be fair, though, they
Let
do
us
tell
live.
everybody. They do tell everybody, do not jump over the cage. You will be fined.
Let us
To be fair.
He asked Dana, who is not the athletic commission, but hey, what are you going to do? I'm just happy he didn't get suspended.
You live and you learn.
Exactly. Well, anything else you want to chat about before?
Save it for next time.
Yeah, we'll ship off, and we'll see you with UFC Denver. You have
I didn't
Rose
even get to talk about that.
Namajunas
I had notes.
versus the thirst trap extraordinaire.
Miss Tracy Cortez.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite IG hot girl.
She's a man eater. She should walk out to that. That'd be sick. But she's gonna walk out to some like trap music or something.
Probably.
Yeah. She will. How do you see that fight?
I see Rose winning.
Mm.
I do. I mean, hats off to Tracy. Her boxing looked great in her last fight.
Mm-hmm.
She's hard to take down. She has good takedowns. She's become like, a well-developed MMA fighter. I just think Rose has the advantage on the feet, and I think she'll be able to bless y'all.
Oh gosh.
I just see her being able to keep Tracy on the end of her punches.
Yeah.
Use her footwork, use the distance, and maintain range the whole time.
Yeah, I kind of see that way too, but I do feel like Tracy is one of the bigger flyweights, and
Yes.
she can really use her size advantage when it comes to the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was able to train with her a little bit before she had her first Contender Series fight, and that was the first thing I noticed when we sparred. Was like, oh man, her wrestling's a lot better than a lot of the girls her size that I've trained with,
Mm-hmm.
and now shit, how many years? It must be 5 years later. Now I'm assuming that she's going to be a lot more improved, a lot more tenacious with it. But when she's fighting, it's hard to see that same version of herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of us second guess ourselves when we get out there, when we try to pull the trigger. And Rose is one of those fighters who can make you doubt the things that you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
She's super tricky. If she goes in there like Andrade, there's a good chance that she could actually get the Kimura, on the takedown attempt, or get some weird reversal or that kind of thing. So I think Tracy just has to believe in what she's good at, but also be very cautious of the problems that Rose is going to present when it comes to her trickiness and her sweeps, her reversals, that type of thing on the ground. In the stand-up department, I think Rose has a lot of volume, a lot of speed, a lot of the precision, but maybe not the power that Tracy might have. We've seen her open up a bit before, but usually it's to score a takedown, or it's to like get you thinking about striking and then get to the ground. But I'd be excited to see Tracy really commit to those punches, and she might get like something going on when she's looking for that takedown. So it's an interesting one. Again, I see Rose winning this too, but she definitely has a good chance of showcasing, maybe getting the upset.
She could.
She just seems like a bigger girl than Rose is, and I don't know if Rose has really grown into the weight at 125, but Tracy's always seemed like the type that could probably do well at 135.
Mm-hmm. What I saw when I was watching some footage before, and Jazz Javitas, who
Yeah.
I actually called her fights when she was at CFFC.
Oh, nice.
So it's been really cool to watch, her and see what she's been doing since CFFC into the UFC. And I saw her have trouble with Tracy's speed, but she was able to get around and be tricky and get Tracy down.
Nice.
And what I saw in that fight was a key to victory for Rose, in that she can keep her at the range. She can be tricky. She can reverse against the cage. Like, just because Tracy's big doesn't mean necessarily that she can't like out position or out muscle her, because Rose has been impressive with, the size that she's put on. She has a lot of confidence, as when we spoke to her in our interview. She feels good, healthy, and strong at this weight class. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and I think her loss to Manon Fiore, Rose's, has aged really well, because we saw what she was able to do against Erin Blanchfield. She was just able to put on a total clinic, keep Blanchfield from getting any offense off. And Rose's fight with her was a lot closer. A lot of people think that she either won or could have won if she hadn't broken her little pinky finger. Yeah, she still fought through like the champ she is. She's not at that kind of level either. She's like, it's fine. But if she hadn't broken her finger and had that little distraction early on, a lot of people feel like she could have won that fight. So I agree. Like, Rose has all the skill to beat a bigger opponent. I'm not sure if Tracy's going to be bigger. That's just my hunch. But if Rose is filling into this division well, she's always been tall for strawweight, and she's pretty lanky for flyweight too. So we'll see how she matches. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Sucks to get called in short notice for this one, right?
For altitude, short notice altitude.
No, thank you. That's a big key too. If she can draw the fight out to second, third round, land body shots, do anything to sap Tracy's energy, Tracy's training out in Arizona and fight ready. Rose lives in Denver, so she's going to have the advantage when it comes to cardio.
Yeah, that's a tough one to step up on short notice to, and much respect to her for doing that.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Let's get it, ladies. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this has been another Two Straws.